I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain in my soul. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain. I've got love like a mountain in my soul. Play one, Greg. I've got joy like a mountain. I've got joy like a mountain. I've got joy like a mountain in my soul. I've got joy like a mountain. I've got joy like a fountain. I've got joy like a fountain in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all that you are. You are sacred love. Sacred love, God, is all that you are. I am sacred love. Sacred love is all that I am. I am sacred love. Sacred love, God, is all that I am. Show the way. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that you are. You are deepest joy. Deepest joy, God, is all that you are. I am deepest joy. Deepest joy is all that I am. I am deepest joy. Deepest joy, God, is all that I am. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace is all that you are. You are blessed peace. Blessed peace, God, is all that you are. I am blessed peace. Blessed peace is all that I am. I am blessed peace. Blessed peace, God, is all that I am. Show the way. Show the way, God, show the way. I want to live in such a state of grace. Lead the way, God, lead the way. I want to live in such a holy place. Such a holy place. You are sacred love. Sacred love is all all that you are.
I am.
I am sacred love. Sacred love, God is all that I am. Sacred love, God is all that I am. Sacred love, God is all that I am.
So I'm Nancy Ennis, and I'd like to welcome all of you to Unity of Charlotte on this beautiful morning. So glad you could come, and so glad we could be together today. And for everyone who's joining us on TV, we welcome you. We invite you to join us. We're here every Sunday morning, 10:30 a.m., to celebrate the presence of God together. So let us begin our time together this morning with our statement of faith. You'll find that in your program and on the screen this morning, and we'll take that together. There is one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. And then let's take that within. Take a moment and go deep within. Put all of your attention inside of your physical body. Go to that place where you feel and know the Spirit of God that dwells within you. And settle into that place. And feel that presence of God that is always there, a living, moving, breathing presence, always calling us to come up higher. So as we find that presence in us, we know people around the world are waking up to that presence within them. And we know our purpose is to be an expression of that presence on the earth, in all we say and all we do, until it becomes who we are, one with God. So we thank you, God, for this understanding. We thank you for our faith. We thank you for this opportunity to come together on this day. We let go. We let you be in charge of all we say and all we do in our time together this morning. We do that in our personal lives and in the life of Unity of Charlotte. And so it is. Amen. Then let's join together in our mission statement. And in our mission statement, we have a big, dark word that we say louder than usual. So our mission statement, here we go. We are a vibrant community dedicated to celebrating spiritual freedom and sharing abundant joy through love, prayer, and service. Welcome home. So I hope you all feel that welcome home in your heart today. As we join together and sing again, we're going to sing Come Together, and we're going to sing some more about joy.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Say, God loves you and I love you too.
Say, God loves you and I love you too.
Now feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
Now look at the person next to you.
Look at the person next to you.
Say, I recognize the God in you.
I recognize a God in you.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
From every walk of life,
Every walk of life,
every creed and color,
every creed and color,
we should all unite
we should all unite
in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you.
Take a look at the person next to you.
Say, Namaste, I bow to you.
Say namaste, I bow to you.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Feel the love in the sanctuary.
Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together.
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 We come together in the name of love.
We come together.
We come together.
We come together.
We come we come together,
we come together,
we come together,
we come together.
we come together in the name of love.
I've got the
Joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got the joy, 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 joy down in my heart, down in my heart to stay.
and I'm so happy,
So very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart. I'm so happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart.
I've got the
Peace that passes understanding down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got the peace that passes understanding down in my heart, down in my heart to stay. And I'm so happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart. I'm so happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart.
play one, Greg. And you can all boogie a little bit.
We don't call him nimble fingers for nothing.
And I'm so
Happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart. I'm so happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart.
I've got the love, love, love,
Love down in my heart, down in my heart, down in my heart. I've got the love, 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 love down in my heart, down in my heart to stay.
and I'm so
Happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart.
and I'm
So
so
happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart. And I'm so happy, so very happy, I've got peace, love, and joy down in my heart.
all right.
Close your eyes and release the world and connect with God. For right now we are in this world, but not of this world. We thank you, Spirit, for our oneness with all that is good, and we affirm that all is good. We see your goodness in everything and in all people. We thank you, Spirit, and we affirm strength and deny disease for those in the prayer box. We see strength flowing to them in the form of treatment or prosperity or resolution, and we see them accepting your strength to face any challenge they might confront. And it works. We thank you, Spirit, for the strength and knowledge and understanding you give us to face and to address the challenges of being in this world and seeing the good, because it is here. It is everywhere. We thank you, Spirit, for commitment to stand up for the poor who are neglected, denied a living wage, restricted from voting, suffering food deprivation, enduring health issues due to the policies of a few. We thank you, Spirit, and we affirm that we are one with those people who make these policies. And we know that we can open their hearts to the needs of people that are in need. We thank you, Spirit, for the means and the methods and the movement to help these policy makers remember the words of our way shower, Jesus the Christ, to love each other as ourselves, Remind them and us of our oneness in purpose, and that we and they commit to something on Sunday, but we have to implement it all week long. We affirm, dear Spirit, that all people have the ability to open their hearts to their fellow human beings, to assure human decency, and we ask that you help us move to show them the way. We ask that you help us move to show them the way. We know that we are one, dear Spirit, with the creatures of the earth facing extinction as the earthworms and the seas rise due to our action and our inaction. We ask you, Spirit, to help those who would continue to drill for oil and gas while others cut and burn, to remember our earth, this sacred structure that you have provided us. Help us open the hearts of these men that strive for profit at the expense of their and our grandchildren. Spirit, we ask and affirm that your help is coming to resolve peacefully the issues in Ukraine and everywhere there is fighting or kidnapping or despair. We ask and affirm that you change the hearts of the leaders of any country whose main industry is weaponry. Spirit, we are grateful for the challenges to come, because we can face them here. The challenges to our world, the challenges to our finances, not here. The challenges to our air and our water, to our self-determination, to our way of life. We are grateful for our oneness with this experience, for we know that it is your call to us to take action. We are grateful for the turmoil, for it must generate the movement to replace the love of power and money with the power of love and compassion. And so, dear Spirit, we pray for our leaders, from the president to the pulpit, from the teacher to the techie, from the businessman to the busboy, from the recruit to the retiree, from Washington to Walmart, to get moving. Spirit, we know that we would rather sidestep these challenges, but we also know that if we have to face them, you are there with us in oneness. For we know that we are in this world, but our oneness with you and our oneness with that awareness will bring us through to a new day, a new way, to enlightenment. With your help, with your leadership, with your guidance, we can change the course of this world. With your help, we can affirm that we can do something, and we can deny that it is ever too late. We indeed are one. We indeed are a movement here at Unity. And we are grateful for prayer. So, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And so it is. Amen.
The daily word for today is one mind. I am one with divine mind. There is but one mind. It is indivisible. It is only authentic power. It is the only authentic power in the universe. Divine mind is the presence in which I live, move, and have my being. Yet I may occasionally fall prey to confusion, suffering, or falsely believing that I am operating alone and separate from God. In reality, we are never apart from God. Spirit is the very substance of our life, the intelligence infusing our every act. Through prayer and meditation, we remember we are one with God, now and always. As we align our minds with divine mind and bask in the realization that the seeming two are inextricably one. One love, one mind, one life. Make my joy complete, be of the same mind, having the same love, being in full accord and of one mind. Philippians 2:2.
In the quietness, holy quietness, blessed quietness, I wait in stillness and peace. In the quietness, holy quietness, blessed quietness, I wait in stillness and peace. Holy Spirit, move among us and turn our hearts to love. Holy Spirit, move among us and fill our hearts with joy. In the quietness, holy quietness, blessed quietness, I wait in stillness and peace. Holy Spirit, move among us and turn our hearts to love. Holy Spirit, move among us and fill our hearts with peace. In the quietness, holy quietness, blessed quietness, I wait in stillness and
So today, we come together. We did that in our song this morning, and our message this morning is a call to come together in the name of love for the purpose of peace. Peace that is within us, peace that are in our world. So this is it can be several things. It can be holy peace, and it can be the peace when we're out in the world and very active. Lawrence Tolliver is a peace activist. I think most of you know that. And he started for us a way to find the holy quietness of peace on Tuesday nights. He called it the Peace Assembly for Meditation. And it's been about a year now that we've been meeting every Tuesday, 7 o'clock, for an hour of meditation for peace. And somewhere in time and space, he and Reverend Margot met. And when they met each other, they kind of came together with this vision of peace. And Reverend Margot has the Center for Peace, International Center for Peace in Chicago. Lawrence is the vice president of her center, and she has been the co-sponsor of our Tuesday night Meditation for Peace program. So today we come together, and for the next few days we will be together with this goal for peace. So today what we're doing is branching out in love with an abundance of peace. You know, God is love, and love is God. And in love that heals and harmonizes is where we find our peace. It was Oscar Arias, who you might remember was a Nobel Prize peace winner, who said, "Peace is more than a dream. Peace is an arduous task and a noble purpose." We're probably aware of the task aspect of peace. And we're probably aware that it's a little bit difficult sometimes to hold that peace and to be in that peace. But are we aware of our noble purpose? It's a purpose that is greater than we are, a purpose that calls us to be more than we thought we could be. Often we call a noble purpose God's dream, or we might call it heaven on earth. It's when we live together in peace, and peace is the driving force in our lives. All people in the world living together in peace. It's a beautiful dream, isn't it? And a beautiful vision to hold. The peace we're talking about today is the peace that Jesus told us about. It's the peace the world does not give to us. He said, "My peace I leave with you. Not as the world gives to you, do I give to you." And in the Bible, Paul tells us this peace is the peace that passes understanding. This is the peace we're talking about today. It's a spiritual principle, it's a spiritual power, and it is the peace that is within us. The peace that is a quality or an attribute of God that we feel and that we know in our heart. It lives in our heart with joy and love and gratitude, and it's a feeling in our heart. So this inner peace is a natural expression of who we are. It's all we need is within us in this moment, waiting to be discovered, waiting to be developed, waiting to be brought forth into the world through us in all we do. This is the peace that the world cannot give us, and the world cannot take us away from us. But we can give our peace away. And we do it in so many ways. Have you ever given your peace away in a traffic jam? That happens a lot in Charlotte. And you know, I did that last weekend. I was on 77, where it happens a lot, at 4:30, headed for a wedding rehearsal, an hour late, and they were waiting for me for the rehearsal. So I started out peaceful. I didn't end up that way. Had to kind of recoup on that. But we give it away to deadlines. We give it away to too much to do. We give it away to other people. And we give it away in worrying. That's not a very peaceful place. So one of the places we can find our peace, holy peace, sacred peace that Doug sang about, is on Tuesday night. We get quiet. It's a time of prayer and meditation. It's a time of being in that inner peace together. And when people are get together to meditate, that meditation is enhanced always, so we find it easier to do it when we are together. And that's easy when we're quiet and still and in that sacred space to find our peace. But it's not that easy when we go out into the world and we meet all the challenges that life brings us sometimes to stay in that center of peace. But as we do this, we realize this is spiritual maturity. Spiritual maturity is being called this way, to act in ways with compassion and wisdom, inner and outer peace, no matter what is going on in the world, no matter what situation is there, to stay in that place of peace. I have a little story about that. It's a story about a king who offered a valuable prize to any artist who could depict peace. The one who did the best job, he was going to give this valuable prize. So in the kingdom, all the people came and drew pictures of peace so they get the prize. And the king picked out two pictures that best represented peace to him. The first one was what we might expect, a beautiful scene in nature. The majestic mountains, and they were reflected in a still lake like a mirror image. Complete and total peace. The second one had mountains in it, but they were ragged and bleak, and there was kind of a jagged picture with a lot of different scenes around, and the sky was dark and the mountains were gray. And in the middle of it all was this big old waterfall that looked like it was really pouring down. So the people said, "Why do you like this one? How does this represent peace?" And then if you look close in this picture, you had to look close to see it. Over to the side of the waterfall was a crack in the ground. A little bush had grown up, and in the bush a mother bird was sitting on a nest of eggs, completely oblivious to what was going on around her. Well, that was the picture that won the prize. And the people asked, "Why, again, did you do that?" And the king said this. He said, "Peace does not have to be in the quiet place. It has to show up where there's turbulence and trouble and things going on that aren't peaceful. It means to be in the middle of all of these things and still be calm in your heart. That's the idea of peace. That's the same definition of spiritual maturity, isn't it? To be in the world no matter what's going on, and then hold the center of peace. So as we do this, one of the ways that we can find peace in ourselves then, when we meditate, and we find it and hold it when we go out into the world, and that is what the world is calling us to do. So peace and the desire for peace is so much a part of Unity of Charlotte. And the whole Unity movement, every Sunday after the service, we sing the peace song. This happens in most Unity churches. Most Unity churches close whatever they're doing with a peace song. So we stand, we hold hands, we affirm the peace that's already on the earth so we don't miss it. And we say, now there is peace on earth. We sing that every Sunday. And then we sing how it begins. And how does it begin? Who does it begin with? Who knows? Then we say, that peace begins with me in our song. And then we talk about this is the peace that was meant to be. This is the peace that was Jesus' mission. In Isaiah, he was predicted to come to us, and he was called by Isaiah as the Prince of Peace. And he said in his prediction, his prophecy, that Jesus would be the Prince of Peace. And when he came, there would be peace without end. That hasn't exactly happened yet, but we still have the opportunity to do that. So this was Jesus' mission. Even the angels that came to be in celebration of his birth said there would be peace on earth and goodwill to all men now. So the peace song in Jesus' mission of peace calls us to action, calls us to come together in peace and walk together in perfect harmony. We sing about that too. And this is indeed a noble purpose. To do that is a noble purpose. Hanging out in the wall outside of this door is Unity's statement of peace. The last part of that statement says, we believe peace is possible in our lifetime. That's a challenge for us to do. It also goes on to say that we stand for peace in the presence of conflict. We stand for love in the presence of hatred and forgiveness in the presence of injury. Certainly a noble purpose that we're being called to do. And I think it's safe to say we all want inner peace. Am I safe to say that? That could be a common thing here today. I think so. We want it in ourselves. We want it in our families, in our relationships, in our homes, in our cities, our states, and in our world. We want it everywhere. And it's important to remember that peace is a dynamic process that requires action for it to happen, action that begins with us. It's up to us to create the right conditions for the peace that is within us to grow and develop. So today, as we come together in the name of love for the purpose of peace, which is a noble purpose and the fulfillment of God's dream, I want to go forth with some of those conditions that we can find inside of ourselves, some steps we can take to create these right conditions. I'm calling the right conditions the 5 steps to peace. They're going to come up on the screen now, and we're going to see what they are. Here are our 5 steps. Wake up, show up, listen up, follow up, and light up. Steps that we all can take. So let's take that first step and let's say it together. What are we going to do? We're going to wake up. What are we going to wake up to, we might say? We're going to wake up to peace in a new way. We're going to wake up to peace with that understanding that it is within us. The understanding that this is the nature of the universe, harmony and order, a new awareness of our part in the peace, and to really get it, wake up to the fact, the calling. If there is to be peace, it does begin with us. We have to wake up to that. We have to wake up our passion for peace because we're going to need it for the next steps. We want to wake up to the noble purpose of global peace and our part in it. So first step, we're going to wake up. Second step, what are we going to do? We're awake to peace. We're going to take another step. What are we going to do? We're going to show up. How are we going to show up for peace? Well, this is the stage of making a choice. We're going to show up for peace by making a choice for peace. We can talk about it, we can think about it, we can hope for it, but if we're going to work for peace, we're going to need a commitment that says, yes, I will. We can do this commitment however we want. We can do it as a prayer, but we have to let the universe know we are ready for peace. We are ready to step up and be the ones that work for peace and bring peace on the world through us. So we step up and say, yes, I will. Peace will be a purpose in my life. Then we go to step 3. The first 2 were easy, but now it's time to listen up. This is our healing work. This is the step where we release the blocks to peace that are within us. And there's quite a number of things that we need to do in our inner work, but they're not complicated and they don't take a lot of time, more like a choice and an intention. So in this step, we need to be aware of ourselves. We need to listen up to our inner self. We need to know when we feel peace. We need to know when we don't feel peace. We need to know what disturbs our peace. We need to know when we're holding that peace and how we can do that more often. So we want to become really aware of where are we with peace inside of ourselves. This step calls us to feel our emotions, all of them, and not let them manage us and take our peace away, but rather we become the manager of our emotions. We feel them, let them move through us, go back to our center of peace. This step calls us to also know what our stressors are. What are the things in life that stress me out? Watch for them, stop them before the chaos of the stress response happens within us. That adrenaline kicks in, and sometimes it takes a week to burn the adrenaline off. So we want to be aware of our stressors and when they happen. Then we're going to have to release some habits. Kind of like what Tim talked about when he said no summer slump, but now summer celebration. We're going to turn it around. The habits that block peace are worry, complaining, judging, and criticizing. All habits we can let go. Trade them in for peace. And when they come, I don't do that anymore. And let it go and learn to go back to that center of peace. It calls us to forgive. There is no peace when we are carrying resentment and blame within us. It calls us to be our authentic self. There's no peace when we are trying to be someone we're not, or trying to be who people want us to be or who we think we should be. It calls us to let go of our control. This is the let go and let God stage of it all. And to do this, it calls us to practice the pause. You know, that moment between something happens, the event, and our reaction to it? If we can stop and take a breath and be in that pause, we give a place for God to work and ourselves to make a new decision from the guidance. So to practice the pause helps us through this step. So in this step, it's feel our feelings, manage our stress, be our authentic self, forgive everyone and everything, and let go and let God. Let go of our need to control, let go of our need to get things right, let go of all perfectionism because there's no peace in those things. So when we have finished that step, or as we do that step, we move to the next step, which is, this is the step of responsibility and discipline. It's not, doesn't take so long to do this, but we do need both of those to go forward. Here's what the Dalai Lama said. He said, I believe that to meet the challenges of our times, human beings will have to develop a greater sense of universal responsibility. We must all learn to work not just for our own self and our family, but our nation, for the benefit of all humankind. And he said the universal responsibility is the key to human survival, and it is the foundation for world peace. So it's calling all of us to step up to what's needed in the world. And without discipline, we won't even bother to follow through with these steps. Well, we might think about it and hope for it and plan to do it someday, but we probably won't. Our spiritual life needs discipline. It means creating a space for God to work. Discipline is not a hardship or something heavy. what it is, it creates an opportunity for us to grow. It makes a space for that to happen if we do what we say we're going to do and keep our commitment. That's how we get to where we want to go. So as we move ahead then, the last step is to light up. We're going to turn up that light of peace within us. However bright it is right now, we can always turn it up without doing another thing. We can just let it get brighter in us. Lawrence would call that amplifying our peace. We can do that at any time. So we show up as a peaceful presence. We can embrace conflict and go right through it in a peaceful way. We can learn to agree and disagree in love. And when our light grows dim, all we have to do is take a deep breath and come back to that place of peace. Very easy. Kind of coach ourselves into it. Remembering I am a peaceful presence now. That's who I want to be, how I want to show up in the world. So let us practice peace until every step we take can be our joyous vow, and take the moment and live in the moment. Peace eternally. Got that from our song. Let's come together in the name of love for the purpose of peace. And let's do it on a regular basis and remember to love each other. Mother Teresa said, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten we belong to each other. So for there to be peace in our home and in our city, our states, our government, and our whole world, for us to have that peace, it means come together and work together for peace. Support each other in the process of finding peace within us. Help each other do that. Come together with a peace project that we can have in the world. We can do that today. We can do it at 1 o'clock. We can come to the workshop. The question the workshop asks us is, where is the peace movement going? And what is our part in the peace movement? Reverend Margot says catching God's idea is one thing. Becoming the person or group that brings that idea forward is another thing. She and Lawrence are two people who have caught the vision for peace and are working together to fulfill that vision of network centers of peace around the world. It's happening now, and we can be a part of it. So tomorrow we can come together at 7 o'clock and have a dialogue about peace with Margot. Talk about these things about peace and where we are and where we want to go and how we can get there. And then Tuesday at 7 o'clock we can come back for the Peace Meditation Assembly with Lawrence and Reverend Margot. So we have a lot of things we can do to amplify these ideas of peace in our life. So I've talked about it now, and it's time to experience that peace. So I'm going to invite you to take a few moments in the silence. We have a song today for our meditation that shows up on the screen. It's called The Sanctuary. So take a deep breath. Get comfortable in your seat, and we'll join together and sing the song about the sanctuary that's deep within us.
Tried and true.
So settling now within, that sanctuary within, where we find the peace that passes all understanding, the peace Jesus left with us. Settle into that place and take a deep breath. Let go of any cares or concerns. Just let them go. Peace, be still. The words Jesus used to calm the sea, let them calm us now. So it's quiet and still inside, like a pond with no ripples. Quiet and still. Feeling that peace within you. Saying to yourself, I am a peaceful presence. Settling into that peace for a few moments in the silence, one with the peace of God in our hearts for a few moments. In the holy sacred silence of the sanctuary. We thank you, God, for this experience of peace. May we go forth from our time together to find that peace within ourselves and practice holding that peace no matter where we are or what we're doing. Becoming a peaceful presence in the world we live in until it becomes who we are and how we live our life. May we wake up. May we show up, may we listen up, may we follow up, and may we light up our peace everywhere we go. Be a radiating center of peace in the world we live in. And so it is. Amen.
From this circle of love, from this circle of love, I send you peace. From this circle of love, from this circle of love, from this circle of love, I send you peace. We are gathered today. We are gathered today. We are gathered today to pray for peace. From this circle of love, from this circle of love, from this circle of love, I send you. This is the day
This is the day
that the Lord has made.
that the Lord has made.
We will rejoice
We will rejoice
and be glad in it.
and be glad in it.
Everybody.
This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it.
This is the day.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
This is the day
This is the day
when he rose again.
when he rose again.
We will rejoice
We will rejoice
and be glad in it.
and be glad in it. This is the day when he rose again.
We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day.
This is the day that he rose again.
Play one, guys. When the Spirit, this is the day.
This is the day
When the Spirit came,
when the Spirit came.
we will rejoice
We will rejoice
and be glad in it.
and be glad in it.
This is the day when the Spirit came. We will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day. This is the day when the Spirit came. Now the circle is unbroken and divine, Lord, so divine. For it's heaven now that's waiting in our mind, Lord, in our mind. Do that again. Now the circle is unbroken and divine, Lord, so divine. For it's heaven now that's waiting in our mind, Lord, in our mind. We were sleeping on Good Friday when death laid us in the ground. But the Spirit made us waken, and today we're heaven bound. The circle, now the circle is unbroken and divine, Lord, so divine. For it's heaven now that's waiting in our mind, Lord, in our mind. Play one. Here we are on Easter morning, newly risen and in bloom. Loving hearts we are rejoicing here within the upper room. Now the circle
is unbroken and divine, Lord, so divine. For it's heaven now is waiting in our mind, Lord, in our mind. Everywhere new life has blossomed, everywhere new songs are sung, and the cross is ever empty, where despair and sorrow hung. Now the circle is unbroken and divine, Lord, so divine. For it's heaven now is waiting in our mind, Lord, in our mind.
For it's heaven.
For it's heaven now is waiting in our mind, Lord, in our mind. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me. Now there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Peace has begun with me, and this is the moment now. With every step I take, now this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Now there is peace on earth, and it has begun with me.
Our prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.